Coming up on the Sports Reporters.
Just create your own show.
Yeah. If you guys need a very old co-host, I'm available. I just want to do this for like another 20 years till I'm in my late 70s, and then I'll be ready to go.
Absolutely.
At that point, I hope I'll figure out this.
I think that's a perfect.
Hey, if Bill Belichick can do it, Jeremy, so can you.
I'm Jeremy Schaap, and these are today's Sports Reporters.
Hey guys, I'm Annie Agar. I'm an NFL content creator and host in Chicago Sports Network. I just want to take a second to personally thank Katie's alma mater for our new recruit in Green Bay, Micah Parsons. So thank you for that. It's been a great week for me, guys.
Hey everyone, I'm Katie Feeney. I am a lifestyle and sports creator. I'm now with ESPN as well. Just graduated from Penn State, hence Annie's reference there. But yeah, I'm super pumped for the show. Thanks for having me on, Jeremy.
Yeah, my name is Anthony Hamilton Jr. I'm also a sports and lifestyle creator. I specialize in tech development as well. And I'm really excited to be here, man. This is a really dope opportunity. So thanks for having me.
So, look, this is something different from what the Sports Reporters has been, a show that premiered on ESPN long before any of you were born. But you guys have millions of followers. You are in the vanguard of the new media in the sports journalism, reporting, influencing landscape. But, I'm 56. I come from a different generation. For you guys, when you talk to old people like me, or you talk to your parents who are probably younger than me, or your grandparents, how do you describe what you do? What do you tell them, Annie?
It's a tough thing that you add, because it's hard to explain to people. And I specifically think about my grandpa, who's a big diehard sports fan. He played college basketball and knows sports like the back of his hand. But trying to explain where you can see our content has been the hardest thing. So I've had, his friends will be like, "How I pulled it up on Facebook," or send them the YouTube link, but they don't even have a cell phone. So trying to explain to that older generation, it's like the newspaper, but it's instant and it's informative, but it's funny. It's just hard to kind of explain that whole process to them. So I try to explain it in terms of, hey, it's a video, it's this news, it's informative but funny and all that. But yeah, it's the hardest thing is trying to explain where to find it. But I found, they are happy for us no matter what. So
yeah, I usually say I'm like a sports reporter, but digital. I don't know. I usually say digital sports reporter. My grandma's actually surprisingly really good at Instagram. And honestly, my family is pretty far removed from social media, my dad as well. But somehow they've gotten to watch all of my stuff, even the Snapchat of it all. So they find it very entertaining. But yeah, there's really no way to explain it other than here's what I do. And I think watching is the best form of how to show everything we put out on the internet.
Try to understand it. Yeah, you got to see it. You got to experience it to understand it, because if you come from the pre-digital age, it's just a foreign language.
Right. Yeah. For me, I feel like I don't explain it at all. So I'm kind of different. I'm more of like, my grandmother, like what you said, she's really big with TikTok, the scrolling, just sitting there. Cause I try to explain to them like it's modern day TV, and that's literally where I leave it. Cause it's too many questions to answer within the process. So for me, it's just explaining to them, this is work for me. This is what I'm doing. And it's entertainment. So that's kind of how I explain it. But I don't really explain it at all, because it'll stress me out trying to answer all those questions.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
We talk to our phones for a living. That's like we talk to our phones for a living, and somehow lands us these insane opportunities.
I mean, again, I'm not going to keep coming back to the fact that I'm really old, especially compared to you guys. But, when I was getting into the business, there were certain role models, right? There were people you could watch on TV, a Bob Costas, a Bob Lee, my father, and say, that's the work I want to do. Who are your role models? Like, you guys are again, the first generation of this. So how did you even conceptualize this, Annie?
Yeah, that's a great question, because it's interesting. We're trying to kind of pave our own path here with social media. So you want to look up to people and kind of take hints and advice from people in the industry, but you're also trying to create your own content, and social media is all about bringing your own spin on things. So I'll say, me personally, I look up to guys like Pat McAfee, who kind of have this different voice that they're bringing to the industry. It's a little bit more raw, and it's the fandom back into the sport. That's what I love about my job. And I say to everybody is I can still bring that fan aspect, because reporters, and Katie knows as well, I'm sure Anthony does too, you can't be really biased when you're doing sports reporting. But the nice thing about content is you can be extremely biased, and I can get on and do a selfie video about the Packers loss and complain about it and not have to be careful about, offending the team or anything like that, because I do it a lot. But that's the kind of makes it hard to look up to people, I guess, in that sense, because you can pull from people, but you, at the end of the day, you're trying to bring your own spin on things as well. So I look to people that are creating their own path in this sports world, in this industry, in terms of reporting and on social media as well.
Yeah, that's a really great way to put it, Annie. I completely agree. I love, like, someone I look up to is Kay Adams, because she's not quite at, like, she's not doing what Erin Andrews does. She kind of paved her own path in her space, and her connection with the athletes is what I really admire. I think she's a great storyteller. So that's what I pull from her. I think Erin Andrews is just someone I looked up to as like a kid, and I still do. But I think even just looking at each other now, I feel like looking at people in the space and how we are paving this new path, and we can kind of, just use each other to really keep ourselves motivated. And what Annie does, like, I've been a fan of her content forever, and it's so unique and so interesting. So I think it's just really cool to watch what we're doing as well.
Yeah, for me, I feel like the evolution of social media, like, I'm a social media geek. So like, I feel like I love what I do. So every day I'm looking at analytics, how it's changing. And I've been posting since Instagram's been just strictly photos, like in the back of my messed up garage doing basketball videos. So I've seen it literally transition over the course, because I was a college athlete as well. I was a high school athlete. I wanted to do sports first. So whenever I saw that there was an opportunity for a career, I was able to do a lot less than the haul of being a professional athlete or somebody that's training every day and, doing these things. I saw that as an opportunity to maximize my time in different areas, and just seeing how technology is developing, how different creators are coming out with different things. It's a really hybrid industry. It's really interesting, because like, you don't want to be like other people. You don't want to copy ideas. You want to be organic. There's millions of people that are on the platform. So millions of people are going to post. How are you going to stand out? So I think for me, like, just navigating it is just trial and error, seeing videos flop, seeing videos go viral, being on long form shows, short form shows, just trying different things out to build that audience. And for all four of us here, it's worked out pretty well for us developing that process. So it's a really long, we can go into different ways with it, but it was a dope opportunity just to get into this industry and be able to build for myself.
Why do you think you guys stand out? Well, and not just talk about yourselves, but talk about each other. I mean, so many, again, in the old days, there were gatekeepers, right? You had to have somebody at some legacy media outlet or newspaper, TV station, magazine, take a chance and say, we're going to give you this opportunity. We're going to give you this platform, right? And now you guys can create your own platforms and build it. But it means millions of people are trying to find success in this space. And you are three of the very few who have broken through and have sustained it for some time. Why do you think you've been able to do it, Annie?
Yeah, kind of what Anthony just said. You have to want it so badly, and it has to be your life's purpose. And if you think about it, we're reporters, we're also entertainers though. And my genre, I guess, is comedy, right? So at the end of the day, I'm an entertainer. I want to make people laugh just as much as I want to give them the updates on what happened in the NFL that week. And I think that's a big part of it. But you also, and I tell everybody this when they get into content and they're like, oh, there's so many other people doing it. I don't think people want to see what I can bring or what I have to offer. I'm telling you, there is somebody out there that will, because there are things that I'm passionate about that I'll see TikToks on. And I'm like, oh, people have the same interests that I do. And it blows me away how many things in common I have with other people. So if there's something that you're passionate about and there's something that you're excited about, I guarantee there are other people that feel the same way. And if you just start making content, people will feel the energy that comes from that content because they know you're passionate about it. That'll show in the content. And I'm thinking that's what happened with all of us. We're so passionate about connecting with people, entertaining people, me and personally NFL fans, I love NFL fans so much. So I can just relate to them, I feel like, when I put my content out. And I'm hoping that's what makes the content do so well, because it's genuine and it's relatable. And I'm sure you guys can, attest to that or agree with that. But it's just not, we're not forcing it. We're not trying too hard. It just comes across as genuine, hopefully, because that's how we actually feel and what we're actually excited about.
Yeah, authenticity really does come through, even if you think it doesn't. I think for me, every time I've gone to so many incredible events now, and you would think after time and time again, I would get used to it, but I never do. So I think that comes across. I mean, my goal is to take my audience with me as if they're there and give them this unique angle where it doesn't feel so distant, and kind of break that bridge between the traditional media versus now social media. But I think, just you have to be passionate, like Annie said, and consistent. I think consistency is the biggest thing. And, you have to be.
When you say consistency, Kate, you mean like consistency posting a lot, or consistency in terms of, your persona online? What do you mean?
I would say just consistency posting. I think in terms of persona, I mean, for me, I would say my persona online is pretty exact to what my persona is in person. I mean, obviously I don't show all aspects of my personal life online, but I think you constantly have to reinvent yourself as well. So consistency in that way, I think it doesn't apply as much to your content itself. I think you have to constantly change it and evolve it. But in terms of posting on multiple platforms, I post every day, and I post in multiple places every day. Maybe on certain platforms, I post 50 times a day. And so I think, you have to want it, and you can't put 50% in. You have to put 110% in, even though you are going to hear a lot of outside noise from your peers, from maybe it's your followers or people seeing your content, and you just have to completely ignore it. Because if you're not willing to ignore whatever outside noise there is, you're not going to be able to continue at the speed that you need to.
But that's hard. You need a thick skin. I mean, you really have to be able to take some of those shots, right, Anthony?
Right. Yeah. For me, what I was gonna say is she just touched on like how she posts on different platforms, and it's a beast. Whenever you get into social media, I think about it as this is the first time I'm saying this out loud too. It's like a world, country, city. So the world is the platform, the country is the person, and the city is the type of content that you put out. So if you focus on your own world, like, okay, the world of Instagram today, what's trending on Instagram? What are the sounds? What are the edits, the new edits, or the features that they're pushing that you want to try, integrating it into your audience while keeping an organic and genuine connection with your audience? It's like a science. It's like psychology, sociology at a point. And I majored in sociology at school as well. So that's why I feel like I'm a nerd with it, because I always, even just in person, I have the same energy in person as I do on camera. And I dislike whenever I do shoot a video and I feel like it's not organically me. You know what I mean? And that goes a long way, because if you try to wear this mask, and you're not going to survive long in this industry. You have to be yourself. I mentor a lot of younger creators coming up, and I tell them like, hey, just be yourself. Like, if you're trying to be somebody else, you're literally somebody's coming to your page to see you. They're not coming to your page to see a trend. Maybe they want to see you do a trend, but they want to see the organic content that stems from you. And I think being in this industry for 10 plus years, I've seen a lot of creators come in, have 15 minutes of fame and dip out, fall off. I've seen people that have been here since Vine started, and Musically, and those like before, like when iPhone first came out, you know what I mean? And it's just like I said before, it's a really interesting thing, and it's just a learning curve of knowing how to operate a platform or your world with millions of people. So, just understanding that.
Your followers will know too. Like if you do a brand deal, or if you put out a video that's just a trend and it's not organic to you, like your followers will be the first people to call you out, I feel like, and then that kind of checks you, and you're like, oh yeah, that video isn't really me. You got to bring it back in.
Yeah.
When you say a trend, you mean like something everybody else is doing and you're just I don't even understand
that
the
is what a
nomenclature.
trend is, Jeremy. Yes, we're going to teach you about hashtags next.
Let's teach you. Yeah, I was gonna say trends can be a million different things though. Let's teach them. I feel like
Yeah, that honestly we need a
literally
whole session for that. That'll take some time to break down.
There's a reason why I'm such a big social media star.
Hey, soon you will be.
Yeah. So again, going back to the basics for a social media Luddite such as myself, like all the different platforms, and you're posting on all of them. Like, how do they overlap with each other? Like, what's the Venn diagram, and when are they totally different? When do they demand totally different content, and what's kind of the bread and butter for you guys?
Yeah, I'll start with that. I love Twitter, and this might be different for you guys. I think Katie's on Twitter. I don't know about Anthony, but like Twitter for sports, info or news. Obviously, Twitter's X. Sorry, Twitter. I still call it Twitter. Twitter's the best, and it's instant. Like I am on Twitter while I'm watching games and just tweeting. And the memes blow up the most. Like the best time to tweet is during NFL games because everybody's on Twitter during that time. It's like a new form of how people consume media and how people consume sports. And it's amazing to me because you'd think if there's a primetime game, everybody's watching the actual game that's on TV, but they want to connect with fans that are also watching the same thing. So they're on social media. And the best time I found for me to post is during these big games. So I'm constantly on Twitter. And that's instant. Like I got to get that off timely. It cannot be an hour later, it's got to be immediate. And then I'll take that kind of same post or my joke or whatever I have, and I'll cross post to Instagram and TikTok, but obviously that's more video format. So then I'll do a video with, like we said, quote unquote, trending audio or some sort of audio that I have saved with that same, it could be the exact same concept. It's just a video of me watching the game instead of, words, because the words will be posted quicker on Twitter and go viral there, most likely, more so than a video or anything like that. So you kind of adapt, I think. And I'm still learning too. I don't have a whole rhyme or reason for all this stuff, but what's worked for me so far is kind of doing that same thing and adapting the content a little bit to what I've seen do well on each platform. So it'll be the same kind of idea, the same caption or anything like that, same joke, just in a different format for each social media. So I've seen that work well, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think the audiences also differ on each platform, especially the demographic. Twitter is actually, I eventually will start to post more on that, but I would say that's probably the one platform I post the least on, and it's a demographic I haven't hit as much, especially with—
What's that, like old guys like me? Is that what you're talking about?
We just teed that up.
I wasn't going to say it.
To be honest.
But yeah, I would say each audience is different. I think cross-posting works well. I'll create a piece of content, post it everywhere. But then I think it's also important to cater original content to each platform as well. I'd say YouTube's big with longer form videos, storytelling. Instagram is usually a little bit more polished. I think that stereotype has been broken up a bit. It used to be more of like okay, this needs to look perfect. And now thankfully more people are just themselves on that platform. TikTok is kind of like you just post whatever, whenever. I don't really think too much about it. And then Snapchat, I would say, that's where I show every behind the scenes. I post close to 100 times. When I'm at an event, if I'm at a football game, I'm probably posting like 200 stories from the day. So they're really getting to see from the moment I wake up until I leave and I'm walking home what the day looked like for me. So I would say that's the most different. But yeah, that's like part of my role now with ESPN is doing stuff on SportsCenter, Snapchat, and hosting that. So hopefully I'll be able to give fans a new behind the scenes look at some of their favorite sporting events and games.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to need thumb therapy after.
I know.
I don't know how you guys do it.
Yeah, that's insane. I was going to say, for me, I feel like just when it comes to each platform, like there's different trends on each platform. There's different sounds on each platform. There's different people, audiences. Like it could be broken down to like YouTube. You don't even need to have an account to be a consumer on that platform. So there's just so many people to tend to, and you just have to figure out what's your secret sauce for you. Like I said before, because if you just go out shooting blanks, like I say, like you're just posting it just because, like, you're not catering to the actual platform, it kind of cancels out, the strategy you have. Or if you don't have a strategy, you're just trying to go until you go viral. I mean, that's cool too. But for those that get to that next level and start working with companies and start actually like help marketing campaigns, because I know you guys do that as well. It's all marketing at the same time too, with whether it's ourselves or other people. But just navigating the different platforms it's always a process of learning, because the apps also want to improve and change with the times as well. So we don't know everything, you know. We're great students. I'm a sponge. I love to learn and apply and try stuff. And the confidence as well is what helps me just stay fresh with ideas, stay on top of posting on different platforms, keeps me motivated to change up the text because it's different texts or sounds. You know, it's a lot of stuff. So it can get difficult sometimes.
I mean, you guys make it look effortless, and you make it look fun, and you make it look accessible. But we all know that, you know, when you actually see the sausage being made, there is much more to it. And there's angst, and there's creativity, and there's deadline pressure. So what would you say, you know, to your followers, to whoever's watching right now? What is the part of the job that people think they understand, but they just don't get what it's really about? What's the element that really fits into that category the most? What do you think, Katie?
I mean, if we're making it look effortless, we're doing our job right. I think that's the goal. I mean, for me, this is my dream job. So I genuinely have so much fun creating content. And even, I mean, editing a video, sometimes I'll put a 30-second video together. It'll probably take me 2 hours to edit. Some things are different. Sometimes I just film something, quickly edit it in the moment. I remember Cooper DeJean's touchdown at the Super Bowl, this past Super Bowl. I was editing while I was watching the game and putting it up in real time. So that only took me about 15 minutes. But then for more polished things, if I'm doing fan interviews, I really like to take the time and make it look good. So, you know, I think it takes a lot more time than I think people think. But again, it's our job to make it look easy. And I think for us, like being in this space and the opportunities social media has presented us in a space that is hard to break in. Breaking into sports, especially as a female, is difficult. But social media has given us this new way too. So, I mean, it really is. It's work, but it's fun.
Yeah, I'd say social media is not for the weak if you're an overthinker. It takes me so long to post things. So the fact that Katie can post in real time is amazing. Like, give her all the accolades, because it takes me a long time to overthink what I'm doing and what I'm posting. And I'll say the biggest thing too is in the off season, because I was more like, I'm all NFL content was like my big, you know, thing when I started doing social media. And when I hit the off season, I was like, you know, I'll be able to breathe again. Like, it's like a job, right? During the season, when the Super Bowl is over, I can take a step back and relax a little bit. But what people don't realize with social media is if there are no days off. If you're not posting, you're falling behind other creators who are posting. So it's just this constant like feeling of needing, and not necessarily needing, because you want to put out content, you want to entertain these followers that are your loyal fan base. But it's just a lot of, I guess, pressure is the only word I can think of to put content out there, even on off days. So finding content in the dog days of June, when there's barely any sports going on, was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in terms of my job. And then, you know, you get these full-time jobs and you're working in sports on top of making content. And then it's just a struggle to keep putting things out as well. So that was kind of the hardest thing that I wasn't expecting when I got into social media, because there's no off day.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I love my job. Like, I love my job. I'm not complaining at all. And I feel like just that motivates me to get up every day and just go hard with everything. Like, I'm really specific on if a video has a little blur, or if there's a little or something with the caption, or if there's a clip, everything could be perfect. It could be one take, 59 seconds. And that last second to a minute, if it's bad, I'm cutting it or I'm not using the whole video. Like, I'm very, because those things matter, and that's what separates you from the next person. Because somebody could shoot a video and they're like, hey, can you shoot this for me? And then it's not good. You post it, and then that's the first time somebody sees you. That's how they remember you. So I treat every day like it's day one for me, and like I'm trying to put myself out like nobody knows me. Because if you focus on how many people are actually watching you every day, it can sometimes stress you out. And I try not to desensitize myself from being seen by so many people, because sometimes that's how you can lose yourself and you forget that you're actually a leader. You know what I mean? And when it goes to like the image on social media and everything else we've been talking about, it's just literally about if you upholding the image that you put out. Because if you are putting out an image and it's not you and you don't uphold it, you're a phony, and vice versa. If you are putting it out and you are yourself, but you're not putting it out, you're a phony. You're not built for this career. So there's a bunch of different recipes to get where you want to go, but the mental health part of it is really big as well. Because people don't understand the editing, the if a post, you could put 10 hours into a post. I edit all my own content. I've been doing it for the last 10 years. I just hired an editor, and it's like hundreds of gigabytes of content that I have to be on camera. I have to produce it, direct it, edit it, put it out, create a schedule, promote it, get brands to want to work with me, and building the team after that is just, once you see that progress is when you start to see the progress with your entire career with this stuff.
Yeah, to add on to that too, it just made me think of when you were saying that, when celebrities were getting famous back before social media was a thing, you would do, they do movies, or if they did any kind of press thing, you'd have a team behind you doing these press releases. You'd have someone that was there to kind of tailor your image to the public, make sure you said the right things, make sure you were media trained. That's all gone with social media because everything is being filmed, and people now that have kind of a presence on social media, anybody can have a camera on you. So you've got to really watch your image and your brand and all this stuff. But the people that are just starting out, and same with, like Anthony just said, I edit all my stuff as well. Katie edits all her stuff. There was no real team when we first got started. So you're building this all yourself, and it just puts a lot of pressure on you to make sure, like Anthony said, you're putting the right image out there. You're staying true to yourself. You're staying genuine, and nobody really kind of led us through that. So maybe that's why our content did well too. Cause again, hopefully we're genuine and people saw that. So
maybe people saw us editing their own stuff too. They're like, dang, y'all know what y'all doing. Yeah.
My editing needs some work. I'm working on it. Sometimes I do see some like creators have these really incredible videos that are, you can tell they're very produced. And sometimes I'm like, do I want that? But then at the end of the day, I think part of the feeling of accomplishment that I get from this job is in the editing and in the creativity of it. So I'm not ready to give that up just yet, but it is, it's a 24/7 job. And I think what I've learned is it's really important to give ourselves those breaks as well. And sometimes what I've been trying to do is treat it as more of a 9 to 5, to where I wake up and I cut myself off at a certain hour. Stop thinking about what you can do next, what your schedule is going to look like tomorrow, and just give yourself some time with your friends, your family to regroup, because otherwise burnout can happen. And when you're in this for the long run, you have to make sure that you're doing everything to keep yourself feeling good.
I mean, do you think it's sustainable? I mean, with the way that, you guys have structured your brands, right? And the constant pressure to create content, and just the relentless, as you said, Katie, 24/7 nature of it. How sustainable is this? Or the way that you do it now? Or do you have to adapt and find another way of doing it that's more manageable?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all in the direction you take your career. And I think Anthony and Annie and we've all been very career focused, probably, since the start. And I think that's important if you are entering the world of social media, is you have to treat it as, if this were to disappear tomorrow, can I use the connections? Can I use the portfolio I've built for myself and take it elsewhere? So I think for me, like signing with ESPN was the end goal, because I wanted to have, I've been working towards building a career, and that to me feels like the full circle moment of, okay, now, if TikTok goes away for the 12th time, it's maybe gone away, I'll be okay. And I think I love to work, and I love to constantly have things to do. I think we're all probably workaholics in many ways. So I think there's no doubt that even if social media were to start to decline, which it very well could, I think if anything, and something new will come out. But I think given the nature of how we all work, I don't question that any of us would be able to. I think we'll all figure it out.
We're stamped though. We're stamped. So y'all good. So I know. Yeah, I had to put another 2 cents in.
So, you guys have all had that experience, right, of creating something and putting it out there in the world and seeing a huge reaction, a positive. What does that feel like in the moment when something really lands, when something really goes viral, Annie? You've had a lot of those experiences.
Oh, thank you. I think I've never done stand-up before. I might Might someday, but not yet. But it feels like it has to feel like when you tell a joke and you get the perfect reaction. To me, that's what that feeling is like. Like if I get, 10 comments right when I post something and it's all laughing faces, I'm like, I can just breathe. I at least made 10 people laugh. That's all that's the reason I do this. Obviously, you want numbers to do really well on posts and you look at all the analytics of it and everything, but it is such a rewarding feeling and it's instant gratification. Because when there's no higher or lower than me putting out an NFL video. My poor family, because I'll call them and I'll, run jokes by them or tell them ideas and stuff like that. Because you need your group of people that you can trust and bounce things off of. So I will be so stressed out and I'll be like, I got to get this video out. Like, it's noon on Tuesday. Everybody wants this NFL content. And I'm so stressed out. And then I'll call them like an hour later, smiling and happy. And I'm like, oh, people love the video. Like I've just never experienced that high and low before. So it's the best feeling in the world when the videos do well. But I think Anthony's mentioned that earlier. There's sometimes where you'll spend hours editing a video and it doesn't, like it'll do well, but not to the level that you want it to and the numbers you want. And you just it grounds you a little bit because you're like, okay, sometimes it's not always going to hit. The algorithm does its own thing sometimes. So it's a very high and low feeling, but the highs are, they are high.
Anthony?
Man, honestly, I feel like, and this is with me, I'm just I try to overachieve. Like I'm a hard worker. I want everything to be better than the last thing. So whenever I see something go viral, I'm like, I have to do it again. I have to do it again. So we back to the drawing board. And then yesterday's
That's how I feel when I sports gamble, Anthony. That's crazy.
We need to get that together so you don't lose none. But with me, with the social stuff, it's like I've seen videos get 200 million views, 300 million views before, like million plus likes, like, and that's individuals seeing it, intaking what I'm trying to put out from my phone and clicking on the screen. I like this. So you have to when you get into a certain area in life, it's like code switching. Like you get into certain rooms, you grow, you learn how to carry yourself. But as a creator, whenever you hit a peak video, sometimes you always leave that peak video as your best work. And it's hard to just dedicate your life to chasing that, like chasing the views. So I try to just put out content that I believe in first. And if I enjoy it, I like it, I don't care how it does, because I feel like I've built my platform to the point where I trust my fan base to be able to tap in with me. And, it sucks when the video doesn't do well, but I'll post it again. I'll post it on a different platform. There's 7 to 10 11 platforms that you can use. You know what I mean? So it's a process with that too.
Yeah, and the algorithm, we're not even in control of. I mean, you can see if you cross post a video on one platform, my video will usually perform pretty well, and then on another platform it could flop. So I think that's part of the game, is learning what does well on certain platforms. And also, you just can't let it shake you when a video flops, because it very well can happen. And sometimes it's not even our fault. It could be a great video, and just for whatever reason, it's not getting pushed through. So I think, I don't even think it's worth, re-editing it in a way or adding a new text. For me, I'm just like, okay, this one, I'll move on to the next. Maybe this one didn't do as well. But videos, when TikTok first became TikTok, and even I think as each platform comes out with a new element, like YouTube came out with Shorts, Instagram came out with Reels, Musical.ly switched to TikTok. So in those prime times, videos would just explode. The views were like no other. I have like a video on Instagram or on YouTube with over 100 million views. Like I probably won't get that now, and that's okay. I think more just focusing on engagement, building a loyal fan base, and catering to my audience is my priority, as opposed to views.
You guys have these huge followings. You've made an impact. Do you consider yourselves journalists? Is journalism part of the equation here, Annie?
That's a really good question. Yeah, kind of just to go off what Katie just said, you've built the followers and this fan base that trust you. So trust is a big thing with journalism, right? You, at least me personally, like I get my NFL info from certain reporters like you, Jeremy, like people that I've grown up watching, or people that I've trusted to give me this information. So I would say that's a huge aspect of journalism, is this trust factor between the people consuming it and the people reporting on it. And I think social media breaks that barrier a lot more, because now you know the person personally. You know, it's not just I'm waiting for the 6 o'clock news for them to come on and give me the updates on my local high school football team. Now I know what they're eating for breakfast and what a day in their life looks like. And so now it's a personal connection with these reporters. And I found that adds another level of trust to people. So I think there is an aspect of journalism because I am trusting myself and they're trusting me to bring them this NFL information or, you know, this event information if Katie goes to an event or, you know, as a former athlete, you know, Anthony can bring a side of sports that we can't. So there's a level of trust with each reporter or each social media person that I think is a level of journalism. And that's not to not discredit the actual journalists out there, but a lot of us studied that too. Like I was a sports broadcasting major, so hopefully there's journalism somewhere in there. Otherwise, my college career was for none. So yeah, I would say there's a level to it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, my degree is in digital journalism, and I would definitely say what I learned in the classes, you know, it has translated in a bit. It's definitely different. It's a new age of journalism, and I think when I think of journalism, I think of storytellers. You know, you're delivering news and the element of trust and credibility, and I think that's what we try to encapsulate in everything we do. It just looks a little bit different. So I think it's still, I mean, maybe there will be a new term for what we do. I mean, I think digital journalists, I think that kind of goes with what we do. It's just, you know, it's through a phone lens versus, you know, a big broadcasting camera, and the equipment I would use in class definitely is very different. I struggled figuring it out. I'm sure it's how my grandparents feel trying to figure out an iPhone, but that's how it felt when I first was learning how to use this equipment in my broadcasting classes. So yeah, I'm sure eventually there'll be a new term for it.
I think I'm a jack of all trades because I don't like people telling me no. You know what I mean? Just getting my ideas through the door, getting a edit through. And we are the first to go and do this. So whenever you're the first to do something, it helps to journal our lives. Like we're journaling our lives. We're telling people about how we go through different things, how we're pushing content. And if you're journaling, if we're journalists of our own lives and we're the first ones to do it, I look at it as we're leaving something for the next era of creators, whether it's the digital footprint, it's them watching us, being on live, talking to us, whatever interaction, all that goes into the world of social media and helping the next generation make it better. You know what I mean? Because I feel like also putting ourselves into that leader position to help, like helping more as opposed to putting ourselves like putting ourselves in the pool with everybody else. You know what I mean? Because everybody's trying stuff. Everybody's wanting to do different things. People see our stuff and try to copy maybe some of our ideas. You never know. But just leading that charge and being the next person to show that the next creator how to do it, I feel like is key to, you know, believing we are the journalists.
When you think about the way that you've built these brands and your careers and the posts that have been the building blocks, well, what are one or two of the posts that for you really you think illustrate what you do well? For Annie, what's your kind of masterpiece?
That's a great question. I'd say, so the first video I ever did was during COVID. And this is what kind of went viral. It got 3 million views, I think, overnight. And this is kind of what made me, this was the first video that had ever taken off for me to that level before. And it was a Big Ten meeting video.
Is everybody there? Can everybody hear me okay? Wait, Michigan is in charge of this? Didn't you guys have like 2 conference wins last year? We had 6, okay? You know this.
The videos, for everybody that doesn't know, the videos I do are like a recap meeting where I interact as the characters, the different teams, and kind of play out what happened that week in the NFL or in college football. So I had this idea during COVID. I had moved back home because I was working in local news at the time. I was working as a sports reporter and barely had any money to my name. I just graduated college. And so I moved back in with my parents, and in my childhood bedroom, I was like, you know what, I'm going to get on TikTok and I'm just going to do this Big Ten video because I had this idea one day, and I filmed it, and that's the video that took off. And so, and it was so fun. And I think it was so timely because nobody was talking about football season. Everybody was super down about COVID. So it was just a little, hopefully, comedic relief during kind of a darker, sadder time. And it was so cool because like Kirk Herbstreit retweeted it, Desmond Howard shared it. ESPN put it out. And that was the moment where I thought, oh, okay, I can do this. You know, this is something that people want right now. And it really defined me because it was the fan aspect that I try to bring because I'm a football fan at the end of the day, but it was also comedy and like a roast kind of thing. So that is just like, it just felt like peak my content. Like it just was so genuine to me, and it did well. And yeah, that is my masterpiece at the end of this, hopefully.
Katie.
That's a tough question. Oh, it's hard to even think of just one video. A lot of my Penn State.
To have options.
Yeah, a lot of Penn State football content was my favorite. I went into the stands at the Whiteout, and that was a video that performed really well because to be a fan at the Penn State Whiteout is, I think everyone needs to experience it at some point in their life. And I actually hadn't done it yet because I was on the field for the past 2 seasons, just working for the game. And so I was like, okay, what does it look like to be a fan and to take my audience with me? So that was one of my favorite videos. I did a series where I was training with a Penn State athlete and learning their sport. That was something that performed well. It did well. People seemed to like how horrible I was at everything I tried, even though I would consider myself an athletic person. Maybe I'm not as athletic as I think. But then even just like, at the Super Bowl a couple years ago, I met Tom Brady, and it's literally a 6-second clip of me shaking his hand, and I say something I couldn't think of what to say. I was too stunned to speak.
Tom, you're a legend.
So I'm like, you're a legend. And the video blew up everywhere. And it's just, I mean, it's just little moments like that that are spontaneous, that you can't plan for. Those
Authentic.
are probably my favorite pieces of content. And then I met Tom Brady again, and I wanted to tell him, you know, I was the girl that called you a legend, and embarrassed myself. But I was like, maybe he doesn't remember. I just won't bring it up.
You
Dang.
should say like 28-3 or something that, you know.
It's crazy for me. Like every year, it's like this is the video of the year for me. But I think one of the blow up moments that I've had was I posted a video in 2023, and there's this movie named White Man Can't Jump that came out with Jack Harlow, Tiana Taylor, Lance Reddick, the late great, and I played the younger version of the lead main role. And I posted a video, like I had a fight scene. I posted like behind the scenes of me in the uniform.
What's up, y'all? For real?
I mean, I posted that and it went bananas, but that was one. And then recent for this year, my fiance and I just recently purchased a home in Nevada, and I started a series building a basketball court in my backyard and turning it from complete dirt to the ground up, like murals, a billboard, like court, the floor has my logo on it. And I did like a mic'd up series telling people the prices, how much time it took, why I'm choosing this floor, this color. And I think that was like a long form series I tried for the first time, with me just not worrying about me like dunking the ball or trying to do something crazy. It was just me trusting the process. And the first video didn't do as well, but then the second video went bananas. The third video went crazier. And then by the end of the series, when the court was done, I racked up probably 250 million views on 3 different platforms for short form though. So it's those were the things for me.
That's a lot, right? 250.
That
That's
is
a lot.
so cool. That's
I
awesome.
don't even know.
I wasn't sure.
You know, so
Sounds like a lot.
crazy.
That is so cool. I love that.
I mean, you guys are so young. I want to ask about the future of this business, what you guys are doing. And nobody sees the future very clearly, right? That's one thing I've learned over the decades. Nobody has a crystal ball. And it seems that the people who are most qualified to see the future see it less well than everybody else. But 10 years from now, what do you think you're going to be doing? And what do you think the business is going to look like? Annie, let's start with you.
Yeah, I think this is a tough question because there is so much uncertainty with it. But the biggest, and it's scary to think about because, you know, with jobs, there's no job security really with social media. But the one thing that gives me a little bit of peace and calm is just being open to learn. And I tell people this when I talk about them getting into social media. The second I'm not willing to learn a new app or a new trend or how to edit or even learning from my peers, you know, and I'll watch Katie's stuff, I'll watch Anthony's stuff and see how they edit, what fonts they use, you know, and constantly being willing to learn and not being so stuck up in your content, or like, hey, I got to 1 million, I don't need to watch these people anymore. The second you stop learning is the second you should be worried about your career and your job. Because if, like, I think Katie said this, if all the apps go away, if TikTok's gone, there will be new ones. You know, we are such a community of people, you know, that's why social media does so well, because you're connecting with people instantaneously. So I think that need to be connected with people will always be there. So there will always be a new social media app or some form of journalism, I guess, as we could say, where people will want that content. So as long as you're willing to learn and open to it, like I remember when Threads came out and I freaked out for a second because I was like, now I got to learn this whole new app and I got to, but it's easy if you're open to it and you're always willing to do that. And actually, when I first had gotten on TikTok, my little sister, who was like 17 at the time, she was like, "Oh, don't get on TikTok. You're not going to understand it. You know, it's older than you, or it's younger than you. You're too old for it." And if I just said, yeah, like a lot of my millennial friends at the time were saying they're not going to get TikTok. You know, it's too crazy, too much to handle, and too hard to understand. If you start thinking that way, then yeah, you're very much limiting yourself. So I just try to remember it's always better to learn from people. And the younger generation can teach us so much. Like Gen Z, as much as they freak me out, they can teach us so much about things that I don't even know about. So yeah, it's a willingness to learn that gives me a little peace and comfort knowing whatever does change, hopefully our fan base will follow us because they trust us and we're open to new things too.
Yeah, I mean, the future really is just bringing sports to where the fans are. And right now, the fans are on social, and I see that continuing. I mean, we're still at the very beginning. And, you know, now more companies, traditional networks are working with creators, leagues are working with creators, teams are. And that shift is happening now, but it's only the beginning. So I see the space of creators, you know, it is an option now as a career path in itself. So, I mean, I have so many young girls reach out to me and ask for advice, and they want to pursue this as a job now, which is incredible because I didn't know that this could be a career. So, I mean, it happened and it's happening, but I would have never thought 10 years ago I would be doing this. And somehow I actually have been doing this for close to 10 years. I don't know who let me on Instagram when I was 13 years old, but I figured out a way. So yeah, it'll
Called
be
Child Protective Services. That doesn't
no, it'll be cool to see how it shifts. And I think maybe like I don't know. I mean, I love social, but maybe I'll host a show one day and tap more into the traditional space as well. I think that they're just going to continue to merge. I mean, traditional sports media, there's a space for it. There's a space for digital storytelling. And I think the two will continue to merge. And, you know, I don't think that people are as opposed to the social side of things. I think it was a bit of, it was a bit of a tough space at first, but it's broken through a lot in you know, the more traditional aspects.
Yes, for me, I feel like what I would love to see happen with the next 10 years for social media is somebody or a group or whatever, however, community actually professionalizing it and making their like that. There's that step you have to get to with being a real content creator that's making 6 figures or 7 figures a year versus somebody that's getting started. Because I feel like it's a very open playing field right now. But just like imagine NBA players and recreational players competing for who's going to play, and it's not based off of a college or just their PR, whoever, however, you know, they came up. But with me personally, 10 years from now, I want to be able to still know all the technology. I want to be helping develop the technology. I am currently right now with multiple apps. I can't say too much, but I'm not sure, so I won't say too much. But I've been helping develop technology for some of the main apps that we use, even since I had my first corporate job at 16 years old. So I've been in this for a long time. I just turned 26 in June. So
Man,
10
I was behind
years.
the curve. I should have started at like age 12.
Oh yeah, man, no, listen, it was a lot of maybe like 4 years of me posting without getting many likes or much attention or no deals. Like I just had to keep posting like something was gonna happen. Like I've just believed in myself, and the light in me just continued to shine, and I was more comfortable with sharing myself on camera and stuff, because the social media is a judgmental place for sure. So seeing that lighten up and more things be accepted and the progress getting easier and better for future creators that's where I see it. And a show. I would love ESPN's the end goal for me as well. So if I'm here throughout my retirement, deal done. I'm happy.
On the show.
I would watch you.
I would so watch it. I want it filmed on your basketball court. That'd be awesome.
For real, literally.
Just create your own show.
If you guys need a very old co-host, I'm available. I just want to do this for like another 20 years till I'm in my late 70s, and then I'll be ready to go.
Absolutely.
At that point, I hope I'll figure out this.
I
whole
think that's a
person-
perfect.
Hey,
Yeah.
if Bill Belichick can do it, Jeremy, so can you.
Let's go. Hey, I'll get you on the
Annie.
court, man. Get you dunking again.
That was perfect, Annie. That was the perfect way to wrap this up. We had to get Bill Belichick in. Annie Agar, Katie Feeney, Anthony Hamilton Jr. You guys are not only the future but the present. Thank you.
Thank you.